Stetson, being from the Hunter and kind of Black Shialas, what does it mean for you as growing up as a Georgia fan this game?
Yeah, for me, I mean, it was a little bit closer to home down there. It's I don't know exactly how far we were at Gainesville. I only went once, but it seemed like there were more Florida fans, so it was more, rivalries between households. Talk smack. So yeah, I'd say I grew up with a little bit more of a proximity to the game.
Stetson, kind of talking about the rivalry now that you've played in it, what does it mean to you, especially going back to 2 years ago when you got hurt in the game?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, I can tell you that it's hard to get a feel for how much the players care and feel about the rivalry until you play in it. You can throw records or whatever you want to out the window, more so than probably any other game on our schedule when we go down there and play Florida. I think, Coach Napier is building a good program. I loved him whenever he was at Louisiana. They're always going to be a force to be reckoned with down there.
You obviously study a lot of offense these days, and obviously tight ends are a big part of your offense. Clearly they're exceptional athletes, pretty much all the guys that you have in that position. But what in particular, it seems like tight end overall has kind of made a comeback in the game, and what in particular makes tight ends a good way to go in an offensive strategy?
Well, first of all, it hides, it mellows out defense because it tells them that you could run the ball, and so they're going to blitz a little bit less. They probably got a little bit more of a bland game plan and 12 personnel if you have two tight ends, and then if they go in their nickel package, then you can run the ball on them. You got the weight advantage, and when you've got guys who are as big as these guys are and can move, then what are you going to do? You're going to put a smaller guy on them, to move with them, or you're going to put a bigger guy who may not be able to move with them, and they just create mismatches, and when you play clean football, then it becomes a mismatched game, and I think we've got some of the best in the country.
Last year in this game, Nolan has the 2 turnovers in the game, and then afterwards he had a very forceful defensive view as the quarterback of this team. One, did you ever hear what Nolan had to say about it and what that might have meant to you? And 2, what does Nolan mean to this team, especially in a rivalry game this big?
Yeah, I think it's, Nolan doesn't hesitate too much. He says what he thinks, and he's consistent with what he thinks. And so, I think there's never been a question for me where he stood, and it is because we struggled a little bit, and defense had our back that game, and then for him to come out and just say, hey, all this talk, y'all can whatever, it puts that to bed, and it makes me love the guy and just like, all right, well that's my teammate. He's there. He's for me. He's ride or die. That's my guy, and he is our vocal leader. He says stuff, people listen. He talks smack in practice, runs around. We try to get back to him whenever we're playing against each other, but it's fun, that banter. And I think he adds a little levity, or I don't know, maybe that's the right word, to the whole team, and makes us laugh and have a good time.
On A.D. Mitchell, I guess we'll find out if he can go this week, but not that the offense is cratered without him or anything, but what does he bring? What element does he bring as a guy that you can throw deep to, you can throw back shoulder to? How does he make the offense different?
Well, he's one of the best receivers in the country, if not the best. I've got an immense amount of trust in him, what he does, what he brings to the table from a ball skill standpoint, twitch standpoint, strength, physicality, blocking, route running. We've missed him, and I'm hoping to get him back and see what we can do with him.
It seems like y'all have brought up like the little things and stuff like that when it comes to some of the offensive issues. Over the bye week, how did y'all kind of address those little things and the details and the minor points of the execution that maybe kept y'all from putting 30 points on the board?
Yeah. Yeah, just practice. Just getting after it, going and being critical of ourselves and listening to corrections. You know, it's always been said that a player-led team versus a coach-led team is better. And I think that's because you keep guys accountable. It's easier to talk to them. It's easier to get things to do things the right way. And I think that's what we've got. You know, it's not just the coaches telling us that we need to fix things. It's us going in the film room after practice, before practice, looking at the script, knowing what we have to do, and then when we don't do it, then we can go fix it. And I think that's a sign of maturity, and I think we did a good job of it over the bye week.
Stetson, last year, Kirby had a halftime speech that a lot of people got to hear. The audio got leaked, and we got to hear how fired up. And I guess if anybody's heard Kirby fired up, it's you. We've seen it on the sideline. What type of motivator is he? And tell me about the dynamics of that relationship. Kirby was talking about it a little bit last week, but from your perspective, what is Coach Smart able to do for you with his motivation skills?
Relationship. What relationship? I'm sorry. Me and him, or
Yeah.
okay, sorry. Yeah, no, I love it. I love a little fire. You know, he doesn't like that. He'll get after you, but you know it comes from a standpoint of wanting the best for the team. You know, so when you put in that, I heard somebody call it emotional. What do they call it? Like an emotional bank. Like you make deposits and then you can pull it out whenever you know get after us a little bit. But as far as motivation, I love him. I think he's one of the best I've ever heard. You know, he gets us fired up in his own little special way, and it makes you ready to play football.
Stetson, I think you had one interception this season. How top of mind is protecting the ball when you're executing the offense in your third year as a starter?
Yeah, I mean it you know, you trust your guys to make plays, but then when they're not there, then you throw it away or you check it down. It's a mixture of being smarter and also just smarter with the ball, being more careful with the ball, but also just knowing your receivers, knowing what throws you can make as well. You know, because if you need a play and you feel like you can make the play, then do it, but not if if you're going to put the offense, the team, in a dangerous position.
Stetson, football has a way of doing this, I guess, but you mentioned Coach Napier earlier in your relationship with him. How strong did that relationship get? It's well documented. You had a chance to play for him whenever you got the chance to play here. With him, with Coach O'Hara, how well did you get to know those guys, and how hard was it to tell them, I'm not going there, I'm coming here?
Yeah, no, I mean it was extremely hard. There's a few schools like that. Them and Sanford was actually probably my toughest one. I just love Hatch, and he was my high school coach's quarterback in college. So I don't know, just had a good relationship there. Knew the offense pretty well. But yeah, I mean it's a tough phone call, but I'm sure he had to make those same phone calls whenever he came to Florida, and that's this game, and you make your decisions, and let them know, and they say all right, and you say all right, and then smile the next time you see them.
Stetson, Chris weighed in with his opinion on where he would want to see this game played. You being from down there in the area, does that weigh in on it at all, or would you like to see it go to a home and home as opposed to staying in Jacksonville? The grass is always greener, but I don't know. It would be cool to play in Gainesville. It's hard to say. I don't really know exactly what that would mean for Jacksonville, Athens, Gainesville, the city, and all that stuff. But it would be cool to play down there. But as far as permanently, I don't know.
Stetson, have you thought about this being your last Florida, Georgia, or Georgia, Florida, however you want to label it? Or,
Georgia, Florida.
I know. It's an emotional subject around here, however people look at it. Anyways, have you thought about it? Any emotions before the game? I know you'll hold it in during the game, but have you?
No. No, I really haven't. I probably won't either. But
this a couple of years ago. Can you tell us what happened when you kind of got your shoulder banged up, and how are you this season? We've seen you kind of, you know, moving your shoulder around a little bit. We know Kirby said you had some issue. What is your health now, and what happened a couple of years ago?
Yeah, a couple years ago, I got smoked. We slid the protection left, and they came from the right. And I mean, dude, that was the play that me and Marcus got hurt. I mean, we were rolling. That was tough. That was a tough injury or tough touchdown play. What that was. But as far as this year, I got a little banged up against Missouri. You know, got hit a little bit. But Auburn, a little shaky. And then going into Vandy, felt like I was healing up and feel better now. You know, bye week helped out, but yeah, I'm gonna try not to do that again this year because that was probably, yeah, I thought I snapped my collarbone in half. It hurt so bad. I didn't, but.
Okay, last question, go ahead. Stetson, this is year 5 for you. You know, Kirby's been here 7 years, and, you know, going back to your quote a few seconds ago about, you know, he won't fire. But how have you seen, you know, Kirby grow as a coach since he started here? You know, sometimes he, on the sideline, he'll cuss you out, drag you, but then he'll, you know, coach you up on sidelines too. How have you seen him grow as a person and as a coach?
Well, I think it's, I don't want to say I've seen him grow, you know, a head coach, but it's mainly been, you know, me getting better, me maturing more, and then him, I imagine, trusting me a little bit more in the offense, and then you can have those talks, right? But I think that's where that comes from. He's the same guy.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Stetson.